Hello, and welcome to episode 31 of Spreading the Nerd. I am your host, Rick, who I was not supposed to be the host, but alas, I am. And I'm joined today once again by recurring guest, Silkenit. How you
Good
doing today,
evening.
sir?
Doing okay. It was a slow week, long week, but a lot of gaming, so always good. And you?
Not so much gaming for me because I was pretty sick for the first half of it, so I didn't do a whole lot, which is why I was not only not supposed to be a host, I was actually going to take a knee on this episode and kind of I wasn't going to completely avoid it. I was actually going to hop on, but just kind of chill in the background and input a little bit. But somebody chose not to show up again today,
Yeah, weak
so
excuse, weak excuse.
here we are. Every week anymore, man. He's got some excuse. Maybe next week it'll be his tire fell off his car and he's in Canada. Who knows? Uh, he has a valid reason actually, but
We
uh,
don't know.
well, he gave a valid reason. Whether it is true or not, I can't confirm. So last here we are. I'm a little nasally, a little funny sounded, but it is what it is. Probably going to be a bit of a short episode today because I had no plan on hosting, so I don't have anything prepared.
Yeah, and I'm
We're
a
just
guest,
kind of
so I
yeah,
came I
right.
come end
So, so
empty.
so we're kind of winging it here, and we'll see what we come up with and see how it goes. What have you been playing, man?
Lots of Monster Hunter. Like since it dropped, I'm playing it every day. A bit of always a bit of Balatro on the side when I want to wind down at the end of the evening. But yeah, Monster Hunter, it's such a good game. Like I hear all the criticism, like on every side. Like you have the veteran that are talking about the story and how it takes control away from you, like to make you walk and lord dump on you, and they don't like that because they just want to bash monster in the head. You have like the newcomers that said like yes, it's like more welcoming, like more on there's better onboarding, but it's still Monster Hunter. Like the menus, the hidden options, the it's a lot. It's still a lot to go through, and
It is, but
if you really want to make the most of it and you're new, yes, you will probably have to go to YouTube and find a tutorial. Like I recommend find a tutorial on how to customize your HUD, your item loadout, and radial menus, all that, because you want to arrive at a point where you're not searching for all that, like in your on your screen and what button to use. You want like build muscle memory, and for that you need to build your menu and stuff really early, so you can get used to it.
mm. Yeah, I do hear a lot of people that have kind of complained about the complexity of it, and it's like, but that's kind of the point. Like that really is the point of the series. Yeah, it's not exactly the most newbie friendly series by any means, but it's never been that. It's never been supposed to be that.
No.
Before we continue, Silken, Ellery was wondering what is on your shirt.
Oh, so it's another Crab's Treasure shirt. It
Okay, there you
says
go.
Watery Grave. That's the title. Instead of You Died in
Mm-hmm.
Souls, that's the message when you die. And that's one of the boss of the game with a big hammer. You know the little like wooden hammer to crack crab shells.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he uses.
That's pretty funny, actually.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
yeah, like when you were sitting up close to your camera, all you could see was I assume
yeah, it's
it's like
just
a
the
cup or
hammer
something.
because yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
last week I had another like indie shirt too, but I didn't want to
I,
get political on that one.
I have something that only the old people will know what that is. You remember
Ah,
them?
yeah.
Yep,
You know
that's
that
it.
one.
That's an old one. I actually I made a small purchase on the Atari store. This is one. I got another one that I'll be wearing tomorrow for my annual hibachi dinner. So see how that goes. Yeah, I've been playing. Well, as I said, not a lot, but when I have been playing things, it's mostly been Kingdom Come or I mean, what hasn't been said about that at this point? It's I'm I'm just definitively convinced at this point it's one of the best games ever made. But also, I mean, I haven't messing with a little bit of Monster Hunter. Nowhere near as much as you. I'm still very, very early. I think I'm still at chapter 1.
Yeah, and like by all standards, I feel like I'm lagging behind like everyone because the number of people that are like
yeah, but
HR 100 and stuff, it's
but
insane.
they're all people that are familiar, that are like series veterans. So it's
Probably.
like the people that all beat it in one day. They're all people that
I mean,
played the
and that's
series.
the time you put in too, because like yes, I've been playing all every day, but I have like 30 hours in the game, since last Friday in a week. So it's maybe 3-4 hour a day, like on average.
Apparently, the wind affects batteries now too, guys. Just so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The USG Ishimura is probably a pretty active icon for him because I can see him being a ship that is crashing into the planet below. You know, oi.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on. Our next thing. If let's see if Clint even did what I told him to do. I'm gonna guess no, but we'll see. Question of the week answers. Yeah, he didn't. It's his question and he hasn't answered it. But here we go.
No, because he always keep it to himself. He
You
never
put it in.
writes it,
You put it in the
and
wrong
then
one, doofus. You put it in questions for the show. It's supposed to be in the question of the week. Oh God Almighty!
at least he has good games on there.
Well, 2 out of 3, but
No, 3 like Borderlands 4 is good.
no, 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3.
I'm okay with Borderlands 4. I want more Borderlands.
So, the question of the week posed by Clint last week was, what are your 3 most anticipated games confirmed, as in by the publisher, to be releasing in 2025? And we specifically told Baden, don't say Bloodborne. Being as a Bloodborne, as of now, officially does not exist. And he replied with a very grumpy man gif, which made me laugh. But nonetheless, so in order of people's answers, we started with last week's guest host, Alejandro Alex Segovia, who had also a solid list. Number 1 was Death Stranding 2. Number 2 was Claire Obscure Expedition 33, which is on quite a few lists. And number 3 is Ninja Gaiden 4. I can confirm that all 3 of those are extreme levels of hype for me. All 3 of them. So that is an excellent list. Not my list, but a good list. Baden came in with no doubt a stick up his ass because he couldn't put Bloodborne, and came in with Metal Gear Solid Delta, which is on my list, Borderlands 4, and Tales of the Shire Lord of the Rings game. So I can get behind one of those. But let's see. Ellery says, so this was way harder than anticipated. I have 23 games set to release this year that I want to play, so I decided to do a thought experiment. I hope you didn't hurt yourself, Ellery. I'm just kidding. If all of those games were available today, which would be the first that I would try? That I would play. Atom Fall, which I'm very excited for. The Precinct, which I'm also excited for. Not like this list to the level.
Which one is that?
It kind of looks like old school, like top down GTA, except you're the cops. Like you're not crooked cops, you're just cops. Like you're actually like working beats and stuff like that.
I don't remember that one.
It's an indie.
I'll have to look at it.
It actually looks really cool. I think I saw it in I think it was the Jeff Keighley thing. Not the one in December, but the one he does around like E3 time. I think that's when I saw it. I was like, man, that actually looks really neat. And it was a demo, but I haven't played it yet. But no, it looks really cool actually. It, like Ellery says, it's top down. Like I said, it's kind of like old school style GTA. It's not top down, it's isometric. But no, it actually looks like an awesome game. And then the Alters, which I've heard some people that one's not for me, but
yeah, like I tried the demo of the Alters, like not this next fest, the one before.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically it's a survival game, with a good twist with the clones and the
you clone yourself.
branching of
You
your
clone yourself
story.
of other universes of yourself,
Yeah.
basically, that are
Yeah.
good at different things. Baldwin said, I should note that for any of these that have already released as console exclusives, I'm primarily a PC gamer, and his one and only answer was Stellar Blade. So that does, I mean, that was
but I can't fault it. Like, it's a good game.
it is a very good game. I like that game a lot. Bush 4969 came in with the best list so far. Assassin's Creed Shadows. Obviously, that comes out in 2 weeks. I don't have to wait very long for that. But Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta. And Grand Theft Auto 6, which I can't believe nobody else said Grand Theft Auto. I know you don't like it,
No.
but the world does.
I never said I didn't like GTA 6. I'm not excited for it because
the series. You don't like the series.
Yeah, the series doesn't nothing for me since Vice City. So, but that one is in Vice City, so maybe
it is. Yes. And then I wrote a paragraph after it to explain that this hurt me to do. I said this was so tough because there are so many things that I'm looking forward to this year. And then I listed about 8 because I can't just pick 3. Mafia: The Old Country, Claire Obscure Expedition 33, Doom: The Dark Ages, Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotei, and Ninja Gaiden 4 are all, and I put extremely hype for me. And that's just narrowing it down to those that I qualify as extremely hype. There are a lot that I'm very hyped for, and I didn't even put those. And I'll be honest with you, I had Adamfall, and I was like, man, that's too many. I pulled Adamfall off just because I put that as very hype as opposed to extremely, but it's definitely on there. Let's see. Silking it. Do you want me to read yours? Or you want to read yours?
Yeah, I can go ahead. So mine, and for everyone else, top 3 is really hard because this year is.
This year is insane. This really might be the single most crowded year I've ever seen.
Yeah, and some of my most anticipated game of the year already released. So at least I'm clear on that. I cleared at least 2 of them. So Clair Obscur, Expedition 33, first. Like, the previews just reinforced my hype for the game.
I'm sensing some French bias here. Just saying. No, I'm kidding.
I didn't put Assassin's Creed on there. I could have.
That would also be French Canadian, so that would have double bias.
So the previews, like I watched some people let's play the first 2-3 hours. Like I tried to not watch too much.
Yeah, I watched almost nothing about it.
I watched a bit of the combat because I wanted to see how the defense, the parry, dodge, jump, and it looks harder than I feared. I feared it was going to be too easy, like a bit like you. I think you had that.
That was me. That was me. Yeah.
But there's no prompt for the parry or dodge. You have to react to the attack.
Okay.
So you have to read the attack.
Really?
And yeah.
I thought I saw in a previous watch. I thought I did see
on the attacks. You have a prompt. Press A and you have a wheel, but not for the defense.
Oh, okay.
So that
because one of the one preview that I did watch, just because it was short and I figured they wouldn't go too much into it, was actually IGN's, and the guy specifically called out a battle that he had encountered where the enemy was specifically a bit higher level than him, and he was struggling with it until he got the rhythm down to do the blocking, whichever combination it was, blocking, jumping, parrying, whatever it was, and then he did manage to beat it, and I'm like, well, that kind of lends credence to my I don't want to say criticism, but my fears of it. That said, maybe he tried that boss 30 times. I have no idea, right? If he tried it that many times, like, okay, at that point, it is what it is. But if he tried it, say, twice and got it down, it's like, okay, I'd like to see that tuned a little bit more. But it's tough to go on that. I'm just saying that was a point that came up that I'm like, okay, that kind of does reinforce what I was thinking a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, I'm pretty sure it's going to be.
It's going to be a good game.
So
I have the collection edition pre-ordered. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah. Second, the sole reason for me buying the PS5 Pro, and using it as something else than a media center, Ghost of Yotei. For now, it's still this year. Even if Sony doesn't want to bet us.
I'll bet it sticks, but I'll bet they're watching to see when GTA comes out and trying to
Yeah,
release it in a
and
different
like
month.
that whole. I won't go in the rant again, but that whole like tiptoeing around like a supposed like release date of GTA 6 is it's angering me at this point. And I don't know if I'm more angry at Rockstar for not telling anyone or to the others to like just do your thing, like just and live with it.
I don't know if I can agree with you, but it is what it
You
is.
can like the some was it Baldur's Gate 3 did that like they were going to release at one point and then they had the date for Starfield or something, so they said like okay we are moving the date
Well,
like
they came out the week before Starfield,
yeah but
which ironically enough then completely stole Starfield's thunder.
yeah
But
but or like you can announce a date and say like if you say we are moving 2 weeks from
yeah,
GTA 6 everyone's going to going
yeah.
okay we understand, nobody's going to be mad at a game moving a date away from GTA 6 like
Mm.
so just and third for a bit of indie representation Blueprints because I played the demo on Next Fest and I'm very excited for that game. It's a puzzle roguelike deck builder. It does all the check marks for me.
Well, there's a lot of hype surrounding that one. That is definitely not a game for me, but I do see that there's definitely excitement for it. So that's one where you keep building the mansion, right?
Yeah, you enter and you enter. You just have your lobby, your entrance.
Mm.
You have 3 paths, and
you say
when
whether it's like
yeah
like
when
a
you go to a
kitchen or a
door,
whatever. Yeah.
when you go to a door, you have a choice of 3, at least on the demo, 3 other rooms you can build. So you have to be mindful of not building dead ends, but sometimes the dead end will give you like a key to open another room. So at some point you have to. So you have to build. You build your maze as you go through it.
And I know the general gist is to find a secret 37th room that is in the 30s.
46
Oh, I thought it was the
46th
30s.
room on the 45 mansion. Yeah.
All right, gotcha. And then we got Clint and we got his, and then actually Nissa gave us hers in the chat, so I'll say it after we finish this one. Clint, who couldn't even put it in the right friggin' page on the Discord. Most wanted for this year: Borderlands 4, which we had; Ghost of Yote, which we had; Expedition 33, which we've had a few times. Then he also put Kingdom Come 2 was probably my most wanted, which that's definitely the case for me as well. But that's already out. New Battlefield for a hopefully 2025 late release. I thought they said it was next year, so I don't think that's even an option.
Maybe there's a beta, like
it
the
could
start of the
be,
beta,
but...
maybe.
All right, actually, I'm sorry. His next sentence does say will most likely be early 2026 since playtests were just done. But I thought when they announced it, I thought they said it was for next year. But you're right. There probably will be like betas and stuff like that this year. Where is it here? There it is. Nissa with a one genre list, but Winterborough, which anybody that's talked to her knows that's number one. Tales of the Shire and Wanderstop, which Wanderstop I never heard of until about 3 days ago, but I've heard her mentioning it to people. And
Wanderstop, like honestly, came very close to Blueprint to take the spot of Blueprints, but I know it's going to be a more like contained like experience, smaller. So and Blueprints has probably more like tail, longer runtime. So
and now,
I like my puzzles.
For something that I was not going to do, but was specifically requested of me. It's not exactly the way Ellery requested it, but so I had mentioned a couple times, I believe, through the show that I ordered an extraordinarily expensive, because I couldn't just order part of it. I had to order the whole damn thing. Witcher board game made by CD Projekt Red called Path of Destiny. Okay. I saw it on the Kickstarter. I'm like, this is actually pretty freaking cool. And I decided, I was like, you know what the hell? I'm going all in. Because some of it, now this will be released to retail at some point in the future. But some of this was like Kickstarter exclusive, so not like the whole boards like that. But I think a couple of the special expansions that I got were ones that are never being released via retail. But Ellery asked for a unboxing video. You did not get an unboxing video because I tried and I couldn't do it while holding my phone. However, I did take pictures as well as I could. So here we go. I will walk you through what all this is. So here is the box that was waiting for me when I got home. This is sitting in my kitchen. It is a big box, as you can see. All right, everything in there. I knew it'd be a lot. It actually was bigger than I thought it would be. So I opened it, ignored that on the table. I just kind of hastily cleared it off. 3 things. Not actually the way I thought it would be set up, but it worked, right? This is the base game right here. That's a slick ass box. It's your five playable characters, right? Geralt, Yennefer, Vesemir, Ciri, and Dandelion. This is the stretch goal expansion, which I believe they said will be sold separately in the future, but we got it as a free edition. Now I have opened the main game. I have not opened anything else because I got to learn how to play it before I do anything else. But I believe we'll get to it. I did take pictures of the back of the box at some point. Here is everything that I got because I'm freaking insane. So to go over it real quick, main game. What did I just say? Stretch goals expansion. This right here is a standalone game. It is The Witcher Ronin, which anybody that knows on Kickstarter, they actually did a graphic novel, which was awesome. This is a standalone game of it that I ended up buying as well. These are 3 expansions. Additional companions. I don't remember who all it is, but we'll see that in the future. For those who haven't played the game, that was not Eskel. That's the other one. I forget his name. Son of a bitch. He's the other Witcher that you're still friends with. The Wild Hunt one, which you know damn well, I wasn't missing out on the Wild Hunt. Because if I remember correctly, I believe somebody gets to be the Wild Hunt and be like the bad guys. I think that's the gist. And I was like, if there's ever one thing that's spoken to me in a board game, it's that right there. And then legendary monsters, because Leshen equals buy-in. These were 2 little add-on thingies. I got this one for free because I got the I Want It All package. This is Naglfar, which is the Wild Hunt's spectral ship. And this one I did pay for. It is Geralt on Roach, which is a playable character. Okay. This stuff is just like little add-on thingamajiggers. This is like an art book, which I didn't even open yet. I have no idea what these things are. I'll find out eventually. Card sleeves, which I do need to open that because obviously I've opened cards. This is Geralt on Roach's player board. That's actually what you use to play the character when you're playing. What is that? This is additional tales, which is I was mentioning to you. So the way this game works is you have your tales, which are basically your scenarios, okay? And I can't speak to the expansion, but in the main game, all 3 scenarios that it comes with are actually based on actual stories from the Witcher books. Like one of them is I told you I forget the name of it, but it's the one where Geralt actually gets his Butcher of Blaviken nickname because he kills like the city of Blaviken. This is additional tales of that, and what's cool about it is when you play it, based on the decisions that you and the people you're playing with or against or whatever make, it actually will not necessarily turn out the way that it turns out the story in the game or in the book. I mean, so like for example, in that theoretically maybe he doesn't destroy Blaviken and Ciri becomes the Butcher of Blaviken or something like that, right? This is Legendary Monsters, which is also other additional ones. And this, I have no damn idea what this is. We'll have to figure this one out later, I guess. I have no idea what that is.
That says core game, so probably the board.
No. This is the game. This is the base game right here. I don't know what this is, unless I ended up getting the core game twice, which is entirely possible. Although you would think, like, because I actually specifically picked I Want It All, so you would think they wouldn't sell that to you twice, but You never know; they can squeeze you for a little
Maybe
more.
maybe there's an edition with like one for your friend.
Maybe. So here is the back of. This is the base game. So here you go. This is what the board looks like. There's your tails cards, if you will. This is the cards you play as you're going, and you can see these are. You gotta look it upside. Oh, there we go. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Sorry. These are what it looks like when you're playing. You actually get these little. Each character has a piece that coincides with their thing. Like his is obviously his medallion, the game version of the medallion, which is the much cooler one. You have your levels that you go through in your rounds of the game and stuff like that. And as you level up, that's when you get different abilities that you can use and stuff like that. Those are what the figures look like. Mine look a little bit different because I got shaded. You can see the little black stickers on the boxes, which were slightly more expensive. Now they're not colored; they're still grayscale. But so there's Dandelion playing his lute, Yennefer being hot and best girl, Vesemir being awesome, Geralt being awesome, and Ciri being awesome, as they are wont to do. And then you have these things, which I don't actually know what they do, but one of them represents each one of them. There's the swallow for Ciri, the medallion for Geralt, a tower for Vesemir. I don't know why that is, but
That's the Witcher place.
Oh, you're right. It is Karamorn. I don't know how I didn't realize. Well, you know what? Because I'm going off of the pictures that I saw on the little discs, and you couldn't tell that that's what it was. But you're right. That is Karamorn. I don't know what this is for Yennefer. But
There's a pentagram, like
because on the on her board, I'll see if you might be able to see it up here.
Is it the pentagram?
Yennefer's is where it's upside down, but here it is. You can't really see it very well. It's basically it's like a spell, so it's a little bit different there. But and then I can't tell what his is because it's a little too hard to see on that picture. But I'm sure it has something to do with being a lute or being a lush, because that is Dandelion. This is the back of the Stretch Goals expansion. You get the new characters you can choose from are Triss, Dijkstra. Is that Yarpen? It is, yes, it's Yarpen. Letho, who is, for those who don't know, the antagonist Witcher from Witcher 2. And Regis, who is awesome. Anybody that read him in the books or played Blood and Wine knows that Regis is one of the best characters ever written. As well as new tales. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that this is the dragon from the Three Jackdaws, whatever his name is. And this guy is Nivellen. I actually recognize him. He's the one that I believe he's the one who was in love with a Brusha or something like that. So kind of excited to check those out. New characters that you meet in the cards. You'll notice some are actually game-based ones as well. Vernon Roche is from Witcher 2, and he might be in the third one as well. I can't remember. But he is definitely not from the books because he's someone that worked for King Foltest. I mean, that's a pretty good number of tales. 5 new tales. So I mean, that's a pretty big expansion, right? Here's the back of the Ronin game. So as far as I can tell, it basically functions more or less the same, except you're playing a separate standalone thing where they are all Ronin characters, which is awesome. So let's see who we got. Ronin themed Geralt, Ciri. I don't think that's her. I think that was Ciri.
Yukio now.
What's that?
Like, because you have the name just below, so you have Geralt, Ciri, Yennefer, the Dandelion, Vesemir, Triss.
Yeah. They're over here. That's why. Okay, there's Ciri. I'll say I thought I remember seeing Ciri before. That definitely doesn't. That's Ciri right there. This is probably either Yennefer. No, that's going to be Yennefer. That's probably going to be Triss. That is going to be Yukiona, who I think was a character made up for that manga. And that's probably Vesemir. Yeah. There's Dandelion again, being a slut. That's why we love him, right?
Poor guy, he's just playing his loot there. Like,
what do you mean just playing his
out
loot?
of the box like that?
Dandelion is a complete slut. He's constantly running away from the wench's husbands in the books. I took the picture of the back of the Geralt on Roche figure and the Naglfar figure, which is cool. I like how it says like, it's obviously probably a pretty powerful enemy, but it gives you options to kind of mess with it, which is cool. I can't wait till we know how to play this game so that I can completely destroy you guys, Krista. I'm just telling you right now. And then here we go. Here's the back of the expansions. There's Leshen being awesome, right? That is some kind of werewolf. I cannot tell what that is, and that is, I believe, a Kikimora. Yeah, it doesn't say. It's either a Kikimora or an Ekimora. I forget which one is which. But they're like the lower vampires that actually look like bats. That's all 4 of them. Yeah, I can't zoom in far enough. I think it probably says right there what it is. This is the Wild Hunt. So obviously, we know who you play. You could be there. Eridan, a Wild Hunt. Was that just called like a hound? I think. I forget what that guy's name was because you kill him pretty early. Casimir. No, I'm sorry. That one's Casimir, and that one's I forget his name. Because of an I. Imlahar or something like that. And I got one more, I think. Yeah, this is the last one. And then here is the additional companions. Like I said, whatever his name is, I don't remember. Kira Metz. I believe that's Vernon Roche. It's hard to tell without the paint. I have no idea who that is. Zoltan, and that's Eskel. And then I know who that is, and I forget her name. She's like the little.
You have the names on the right?
That one didn't have it, I don't think. Oh, yeah, it did. Okay. Okay, that one is Shawnee. Kira Metz, Vernon Roche, and Zoltan Shive. There is 7 figures there. So.
Yep.
Because they're for their expansion. Lambert's his name. That's Lambert. Okay. Yeah. Look how cool that Lambert statue is. Isn't that awesome? Jumping off a cliff. And that's it. That's all of them.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. Yeah, I'll be spending the next probably 47 years of my life trying to figure out how to play this game, but
yeah, and probably 46 of them just setting up the board to play it.
It took me about an hour to do that. I can tell you that much because I didn't notice on the first page of the rules that actually did break down what each one was. I was trying to go like page by page to like carefully understand it, but within the first half a page, you're already like, I don't know what this means. But I'm pretty stoked to play it. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Probably result in some good laughs, I would think.
That's the point of a good board game.
Yeah, and once I kind of get grips on how to actually play it, I'm thinking if some of you guys want to try to play it remotely, we probably can, because I don't think it's any kind of like, it's not like poker where you have to have like cards that you're that you're hiding. Like I can show you your boards and all that stuff, and you can probably go from there if we have to. We can see how it goes. But yeah, I think it looks pretty fun. I think it'll be cool. It's pretty in depth. Like I was watching, like right when the Kickstarter was going on, they to their credit, this is actually a really smart idea. They had somebody actually playing a version they made right off the bat to show like how it looks, in flow. And I was like, that actually looks like a really cool game. So
just looking at just the content like that, it really looks like a D&D game, but like with a structure and more props to follow the story.
And yeah, I mean, there's like each character. Now, it actually does tell you it's like when it's your first game, or if you're trying to teach someone how to play it. It said like we suggest playing the what it tells you which of the 3 is the more complicated tale to start with. It says we suggest starting with this one. It's called like the end of the story or something like that. I don't remember. And it said we also suggest ignoring each tale can have extra rules and extra cards with it and stuff like that, right? Like based on what's happening, which is pretty cool. Like it actually shows how truly different these different scenarios are. They're not just the same thing, but picking a different option. Like they actually play differently. And it said we suggest not doing that or doing each character has a side quest option. And it said we suggest kind of ignoring that at first until you kind of get your feet under you. And I'm like, all right, well we'll figure our way through this.
Yeah, that's the kind of game like the first time you play with the rule book like open, like everyone's like
Well, it's like the first
you're
time
not
you
trying to
play.
be competitive or anything. You just
Right. It's like the first time you play. Now, I've never done it, but the first time you play Magic the Gathering, you don't play it with all the decks. You play it with one deck to figure out what you're doing. And then once you get your feet on it, we start adding other things in because the rules get more and more complicated the more you go. But yeah, I'm pretty hyped. I think it'll be a lot of fun. 1 to 5 players. So it's cool. You guys play by yourself, which is kind of cool. That's what I was going to try to do. But...
So they have a rule set to play solo.
Yes. What's also interesting about it. So one of the stretch goals that was reached was cards specifically for playing by yourself. And I think it's more like what you're playing against when you're playing it by yourself. But theoretically, that told me that you don't necessarily have to have those to do that. It just gives you another option for playing solo play, but you can.
Yeah, because I have one board game that does that. It's not wingspan, but Wyrmspan. It's the I don't know if you know wingspan. It's the bird.
I know what wingspan means, but I don't know of
it's a video game where you have wingspan, where you collect birds.
Oh, okay.
And you try to build kind of your not refuge kind of. And they did like a spin-off. It's a Wyrmspan. It's the same thing with dragons.
Ooh.
And they did another one recently, Finspan, same but with a fish. and they have a system, like a rule set and some cards and stuff to because it's a PvP game kind of,
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't tried it yet, like solo, but they have a rule set to have kind of the game play against you.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how it works exactly, but I'd like to try that one day.
And another thing I will say that's pretty nice. So I had thought they probably already had a lot of this in production before the Kickstarter was over. They clearly must have waited because the rule book that you get actually includes info about various stretch goals that were reached. So they obviously, maybe they could have just added an extra page into it later and then had it finalized then. But rule book's in full color, which is nice. So I'm a proponent of illustrated books. I always have been, but by which I mean colored, not necessarily those with pictures. Although I like those as well. But so yeah, there we go. I've pontificated enough here about the Witcher game. I think if anybody wants to ask any questions, I'll answer as best I can. But obviously, I don't know a whole lot about it yet. I opened up the one box. There was a lot of little thingies that I don't know what they all do yet, but I'll figure it out. This weekend is as I mentioned to you, my annual hibachi birthday dinner thingamajigger that I set up. Place we go is called Robokio, so it has been formally dubbed the Brobokio trip. Even though there's plenty of women going as well, but it's the Brobokio. And Krista is hanging out with us tomorrow. I believe Nate might be a little bit too. I don't know. So it will be played tomorrow. And nice. I will potentially have more to relay next week as to how it goes, how it went, how I don't understand how to play it at all. But she'll be able to tell you about the pile of garbage right now that is up against the wall, which is all the shit that I'm not using yet, but it's there. Because I've got one box open. There is a whole bunch of other boxes that I have not yet opened.
Yeah, and probably each box, like each figurine, has like its own little like plastic wrap.
No,
and stuff,
actually, it is not like that, which is nice. I think that this actually may have been due in part to reaching. This game actually met every single stretch goal they put. They kept adding stretch goals because it kept making money. I think the original goal was like 500,000. It made like 8.7. It crushed its stretch goals. And I believe one of the higher stretch goals was that it's like a tray, and the figures all could go in a certain way, something like that. So that is how they'll be staying for me for sure.
No, that's the way to go.
I actually don't even know exactly how the figures themselves are used, because your game piece is technically a cardboard cutout of your character that then has a base that it sits in. Maybe you can use those in place of it. I don't know. I have no idea if there's a purpose or what, but 3D figures better, so I'll be using those if possible. But I'm excited. It's a good universe, so.
Yeah, it's on my backlog for this year. Like, it's one of the biggest game I have to finish this year, Witcher 3.
I meant the board game was something I was excited for, but
No, you talked about the universe.
I'm sorry, you're right.
Universe, so.
Yeah, I fully approve anybody playing The Witcher 3 for the first, second, third, or 70th time, because it is truly one of the very finest games ever made. And I do not say that lightly. That game is truly a masterpiece. Some people don't like the combat, which I understand. It has a little bit of a weird feeling to it. But
what someone told me is to find a build video that that plays like I want to play, and follow it.
Building in that game is weird, for sure.
So you just follow the build for the combat, so the combat becomes like not an afterthought, but like it's there, but you can go through the world and not like really think about it, and just enjoy the story. And
it's something that I learned, unfortunately, much, much, much later than I wish I had, was something that they added in, I believe it was probably the Blood and Wine expansion, although you don't have to be in Blood and Wine to do it. So when you level up in that game, right, you unlock, nodes and all that stuff, right? Unfortunately, you only have a select. You can unlock however many that you have experience points to do, but you only have so many to set as active at a time, and that includes improved versions of your signs, which are your spells in that game and stuff like that. And almost all of them have like secondary functions that you would have to have this equipped to do it, but also like your alternate attacks of your light and heavy attacks also would take up one, and stuff like that. And here's a hint for you, because I didn't know this until way too late. You want abilities that increase your toxicity, because I forget what they are called, but your potions that basically fill up your toxicity bar, but they last for like an hour at a time. Those are the ones you want to be using, because they are your powerful ones. But anyway, they added the ability. They added something, and again, I think this was in Blood and Wine, to where you can. I'm telling you how to best describe this. Like almost experiment with mutagens, which is a good idea, because that actually fits very well with the lore of that thing, as that's what Witchers do. When you start to do that, it starts to take a lot of skill points, which unfortunately I didn't do that, and I had a whole lot I wasn't using that I just wasted on stuff I was never going to equip. And I was like, man, I wish I still had all this. But you actually unlock additional points or additional like spots to equip skills, and I'm like, man, I wish I'd have known that 50 hours ago, because this would have been a very, very different game for me if I'd have known that. But that game, what's cool about that game is the end game is just as cool as the early game, if not in some ways better, because the Blood and Wine should have been its own game. That's how good it is. And Hearts of Stone is such a good like, that's the other expansion. So nobody talks about it, but the reality is it's such a good like not main story, but like story beat, if you will. CD Projekt Red are the best at making expansions. I don't think there's even any people that argue that are people that want to talk about From. But the reality is, give me CD Projekt every day of the week. Every day of the week. I think they are the best at making like the expansions for their games. They are so unbelievably good.
But, yeah, they don't. At least for now, they don't. They haven't like abandoned the game. Like they worked on Cyberpunk. They put it back where it was meant to be, and then they put the expansion on top of that. Yeah, it's
and then still
they have
going after that.
They have commitments to their games.
Yes, they are. Like even when Cyberpunk launched in a horrible state, it's like, okay, obviously I understand I'm not buying it right now, but you can probably rest assured that within time this is going to be a good game. But it took a couple years. But it's like, okay, this is every bit worthy of CD Projekt Red's name, because this is, again, one of the very, very finest Western RPGs ever made now. It took unlike Witcher, it took some time to get there. That was the difference. So anything else you wanted to say? I know we're a little short, but again, we kind of figured we
No,
would be anyway.
there's a lot of good games releasing in March too. So in 2 or 3 days, there's Wonderstop. If you want like a cozy game that talks about mental health, there's Shadows in less than 2 weeks now.
19 days, if not 19. Excuse me, 13 days.
13 days.
The
So
20th.
yeah, I'll try to not get out because I want Wilds to be kind of my not backup but background game. Like okay, I'm going to do a hunt or two just to feel like the game, the gameplay, just to relax or go fish. Fishing in that game is fun, and then put it back on the back burner, play Shadows. Like a recurring game, like it should be.
Mm.
Like when there's an event, I can participate in it because I have like the gear to do it.
Also, actually, something else about Shadows. For those who didn't see, reviewers got their copies today. That's a pretty good review window. That tells me Ubisoft is actually probably pretty confident in this game.
Also, like on Shadows, because I didn't know that, and it was on Project X Talk that I think they talked about that. Like that, they're putting a canon option.
Yeah, like you can either pick. Okay, so I hear people talking about this all the time, and most of them are wrong about what they talk about. Like I either hear, wait, you can't pick who you play as. That's mostly not true. You usually can, or you can always pick who you play as, and that's not true. The reality, I mean, it works like you assume it works, which is each character has specific missions that are locked to them no matter what. But the vast majority of the game, you can pick whichever one you want to play. So they haven't given a percentage, but you can play the majority of the game as Naue if you want to. But you do have to play as Yasuke for at least certain missions. And what you're talking about, the canonical mode says, excuse me, sorry, my voice is starting to get a little stressed. It's saying, I want to play what's the proper character for this thing, and then it'll automatically set who it is for you. You will still switch at will while wandering around the open world, assuming obviously you've got to the point where you can play as both. But in terms of the regular missions, it will then put you as Yasuke or as Naue, whoever is the canonical option there. And I believe that I heard that even if you like, I think canonical is a setting. It's not like it's not a mode you have to be in. It is when the mission comes up and the character select screen starts or is up. I believe canonical is an option, and then it just gives you whoever. Like it's not like if you start it and go, you know what, I'm not feeling Yasuke, I don't really want to play as him unless I absolutely have to. You are not locked into that. I could be wrong on that, but that is my understanding. I think you just basically pick it as you go, and then go, you know what, I want to just play as whoever. I think you can then go back to that. Whereas in that video that I posted in there yesterday, it was the 20-minute, I forget what they call it, like 2 companion video or whatever. There is an immersive mode option or something like that, where the characters all speak native Japanese and stuff like that, as well as a few other gameplay changes, I believe. That apparently, if you set it, it is on. You cannot change it without restarting the game. I think that's what the guy said.
If it's just restarting the game, like a voice pack that you have to reload.
No. I think it's like you have to restart the game. If you
new save.
Correct. But it's only for this. It's not for immersive. It's not for canonical mode or anything like that. This is this immersive mode. And I don't believe immersive mode is simply people talking in Japanese, because I'm sure you can probably do that yourself anyway. I think there's actual gameplay differences to it, which is why.
We'll see. It's more options. Like
it's an option. If you don't like it, you don't have to use it.
I'll always be for options.
Mm-hmm.
Options, sliders, like on off switch.
Yeah, I never have. Well, a major thing of me is like, and I'm not referring to Souls likes before the Souls fans come frothing and wanting to bite my neck. most games, I do believe you should have a difficulty option. Like there are certain games where I'm like, I don't understand why this isn't here. Like let me make it harder, let me make it easier. Why am I stuck at the difficulty that you set? I'm not talking Souls games because they are specifically tuned a certain way. I understand that.
Even Souls game, they can be tuned like by default, like a FromSoft game, and have a slider for like a parry window. Like,
I mean, I am also.
It's
by the same
it's a
token,
single player game. Like
well,
people do that with
that's
mods
just
on
it.
PC.
It's
Like,
not always. That's the thing. You got to remember that.
not always, but you can always deactivate options on multiplayer mode.
You
like,
can, but
they're not incompetent at FromSoft. Like they can do it.
well, they're programming incompetent, but design wise,
they are
design wise they are
optimization incompetent.
Yes, exactly. the thing that gets me, I don't get involved in the difficulty discussion because I just don't care. But number one, the gatekeepers in that fan base suck. And number two, this is looking directly at FromSoft. There is zero excuse for not letting you pause the goddamn game. When you're out of combat, when you're in combat, I understand why you can't do it, right? And Elden Ring knows when you are in combat. So there is no excuse to not have the ability to do it. If you're in combat or if somebody is in your game, I understand. You take out that ability. Otherwise, if you're just standing in the thing, why the hell can't you just pause the damn game? And I know there's a workaround to do it, which I have done. Once I figure out how to do it, I do it. But it's like, it just goes to show you this could be in this game. Ellery, I cannot answer that because I have 5,000.
The one I need to finish right now, I think it would be The Witcher 3. Like that's the next big one on my backlog.
Yeah, and I'll just cheat and say Cyberpunk then. Even though I could read you off a list of about 700 games that would qualify here, but the main ones, I guess I would say, I will say Cyberpunk. Kingdom Come, although I'm still actively playing that. Dragon Age, although I'm still kind of actively playing that. I do need to get back to that one. This is going to hurt certain people to hear, including myself. Actually, this hurts me, but there's reasons. I never finished Final Fantasy IX, and I do need to address that. I lost my save. I was pretty far into it. I got to the point where I had all the party members. And I was at the point where, damn it, I used to know this. I can't remember now. I want to say it's when the party splits, and I was playing not as Zidane and company. I was playing as Amaranth and whoever else was with him, which unfortunately was also every single weaker member of my party, which made that really, really rough. So I think it was Amaranth, Freya, who she looked awesome, but she was worthless. She was a worthless party member.
She's.
Oh, I thought she was useless.
She can pack a punch.
I think her name Eiko. I think she might have been in that group. And Quina,
it's a point of the story you can't choose. Like they are.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I know exactly where you are.
We can agree that Quina was worthless, right?
Don't
even start me, Silken. Don't start me. Quina was worthless.
She's a blue mage. Like if you kill the right monster and you have the right skill, she is like
right. Do you ever have her in your party? Because I sure as hell don't.
Yeah.
So she doesn't have any abilities.
She doesn't have any abilities if you don't kill the monster to give her the abilities.
Because she sucks. I don't want her in the party. She sucks. She's a horrible character. But I digress. Anyway, that's where I was, which is pretty far in the game. I think it was the third disc. I think it was like actually pretty late in the third disc. Like it wasn't fourth, so I wasn't at the very end, but I was pretty far, and I did lose my save. Then, unfortunately, similar thing happened to me with Final Fantasy VIII. Although that one was my own doing because I stopped playing it for a while. There, I actually was at the very end of the game, and I never did finish it because of that. I actually had, I guess, spoilers for Final Fantasy VIII for those who want to play a game from 1999. I think I was on the fight against whatever the space witch's name was that
Ultimecia?
What's that? No, not Ultimecia. Let me finish. The space witch that was like sucking Renoa's ability.
Oh,
she was like the space station. It was her. I was on that fight. You fight Fujin and Raijin before that. Maybe Cypher as well. I can't remember. And then you fight whoever. Was it Adele? That's it. It was Adele. Adel.
Eight is probably the one I replayed the least of that generation. Like I replayed
Same.
7 and 9 like multiple times. 8, I finished 8 once, and I maybe tried to restart it another time. But
all right, time for a small confession. The only Final Fantasies that I've ever finished, 7, and I think 16. I think that's actually it. I didn't like 10 enough to continue, so that one was my choice. 15, I actually still can finish. I'm actually at the end there. 13 isn't even worth playing. 13 sucks. But I love 9. I loved 8. Well, I love 9. I liked 8. Obviously, 7 is my favorite game of all time. 6, definitely a point of embarrassment because I should have finished 6. No doubt about that one.
I haven't finished 6 either yet. Like
I did not have a Super Nintendo, so there's my defense on that one.
Well, it didn't even come out in Europe, so.
Oh, really? Never came.
No, the first Final Fantasy in Europe was 7 on PS1.
Oh, I didn't know.
It came later, like like on the
collections,
remake, the collections, or whatever, but not on SNES.
That said, I've still played enough of all but 1, 2, and 5 to be able to accurately judge them, I think. And I actually should play 5 because I think I would like 5, and I love 6.
But yeah,
there is my dirty little secret, everybody.
I never finished 6 either because I started playing it on like an emulator, like at some point, and then I played something else at some like.
6 is really long. That's
it was not a period where I was gaming a lot anyway, so. But yeah, it's on the Pixel remaster that I have on the PlayStation. So
yeah, and actually they did a good job on the Pixel remasters as well. So that's definitely a worthy place to play it. All right, and actually I didn't think about this. I will throw one more on my list just because Chris is in there. I do need to finish Okami.
I need to play Okami.
Yes, you do. Okami.
At this point, I can wait for a release date for 2 before starting the first one. It's, on my big games on the backlog for this year, I have Witcher 3.
That's what I wanted.
I have BioShock 1 and 2. I have the Halo Master Chief Collection because I only played 1, like the Halo 1 back on Xbox, original Xbox. Like I have a lot of like big franchise to at least play enough to know if I want like to finish them or to make an opinion on them. So Okami, maybe it's good. Like I don't doubt it's good, but it can wait a year or 2. Especially with the new release coming this year.
It's the best. Yeah, I understand. I'll play it this year. It's the best Zelda game ever made, though. So remember that.
There's a lot of Zelda I haven't played either. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of Zelda that's not worth playing, but there's some that are truly great, and quite a few that are truly massively overrated. But Breath of the Wild. All right, man. You got anything else?
Nope. Let's get out before the chat goes through to kill us because we didn't play their game.
I just want to point out this is 2 weeks in a row that the guest host had the fortune cookie, whereas the guy who started the show and started the whole idea of the fortune cookies did not. Remember that. Would you like to go first, or would you like me to?
I'll go first. It says, you are very expressive in word, action, and feeling.
In word, action, and feeling?
Word, action, and feeling. Yeah, that's
bizarre.
Yeah, expressive in feelings. Yeah.
Listen these next few days to your friends to get answers you seek. Krista, I expect you tomorrow to tell me how to come up with a small fortune with very minimal effort. That's the answer that I seek. So you make sure you have that answer for me tomorrow, okay?
So he wants you to offer him a lottery ticket.
All right, guys. Well,
big reward.
Thanks for hanging out with us on this semi-impromptu, unprepared, unabashed, and frankly unprofessional as all hell episode. But it is what it is. We appreciate you guys. We'll be here next week.
See you.
Later, everyone. Oh, wait a minute. I'm clicking the wrong thing. I'm sorry. I did not close the stream. I'm doing it now.